Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Reserved Investments. And today we are going to be talking about breaking news that already broke. So therefore, it's broken news, but we still have to talk about it because it does affect the antiques and collectibles trade, more specifically the pop culture side of the trade. Those of you that are involved in pop culture, modern era collectibles like comic books, graphic novels, even Cardboard World, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, this news does affect you. And the internet has gotten a lot wrong talking about this story because I don't think that people understand just how deep the tentacles of Diamond Comic Distributors go in the modern era collectible space. So that's why we're having this discussion. So if you already haven't read the title of this video or the video description even, which a lot of you don't, because there are people that hunt me down through amazing means, not understanding that in every single video description I put out, my direct email address is in that video description. And I still have people sending me emails to old email addresses, coming to me, trying to locate me in the corporate world, trying to hunt me down on Facebook, LinkedIn, and the like. My email address, for the record, is reservedinvestments@gmail.com. You're guaranteed to get a response if you email me there, and I choose to respond to you because I do get a lot of death threats. I get troll comments. I get emails from chicks that are like obsessed with my eyes. It's like really amazing to me, some of the emails that I get. So if you're somewhat of a normal person, you're not a crazy stalker person, you're not a chick with borderline personality disorder, if you email me, I most likely will respond, provided you email me at reservedinvestments@gmail.com. Free hint of advice there now that we're almost 2 minutes into the video. So going back to the main point of this video, Diamond Comic Distributors has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy restructuring. All is what this means is they are attempting to restructure their business and debt obligations. Usually when a company files for Chapter 11, it means that they have taken on an enormous amount of debt and they don't see a way out of it realistically without asking for help from the court system. And that's where this bankruptcy filing comes in to play. Again, it does not mean they are shuttering their doors. Now, this is important because Diamond Comic Distributors is owned by the Jeppy family enterprises. And for those unaware, not only does this affect Diamond Comic Distributors, it also affects Alliance Game Distributors, who does have their hands in the wonderful cardboard world, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and the like. It also affects Diamond Select Toys, Gemstone Publishing, which for those of you like me that love your yearly Overstreet comic book price guide, this bankruptcy affects that as well, along with certain auction companies and certain grading companies, mainly Collectible Grading Authority out of Norcross, Georgia, that owns such conglomerates as AFA, Action Figure Authority, and VGA, Video Game Authority. So it's kind of ironic that AFA, VGA, they really didn't do anything wrong. They didn't attempt to allegedly manipulate the secondary market like certain other third-party grading companies did that we're not going to talk about in this video. And they're now also part of this bankruptcy proceeding. So it just goes to show you that the only constant in the entire antiques and collectibles trade is change. You know, as I'm recording this video, there's crazy resellers, crazy Pokemon investors going to Costco, going to Walmart, going to Target, buying up all the Pokemon products, trying to flip them for 3-4 times on eBay, calling themselves serious investors. That's the world that we live in today. It's just completely insane to me. So I wanted to do this video because we also have to talk about the 900-pound elephant in the room. For those unaware, I am an analyst and consultant in the antiques and collectibles trade. And one of the things that I'm very good at is looking at market trends, analyzing markets. And most people are probably not aware of this. The two worst performing markets in the collectibles trade in the year 2024 were graded video games and also graded vintage key issue comic books. And this is why we kind of have to have this discussion. If we look 10, 20, 30, 40 years into the future, looking at comic books strictly as collectibles, the future isn't that rosy for this market. Most comic book collectors, especially vintage, high-grade, high-profile investors, most of us are over the age of 40. The art form just is not resonating with younger collectors, younger enthusiasts who tend to like the superhero genre. I've said this before on this channel, and I'll say it again. Most younger enthusiasts that resonate with Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or the X-Men or Wolverine, most of those individuals are bonding with their favorite characters through the video games, the movies that are hitting the big screen on a regular basis, and also through streaming services like shows on Netflix and Disney+. They are not going to comic book stores anymore. It is pretty much a niche and dying market. This is why most comic book stores over the last 10, 20 years have had to branch out in other products. If you walk into a modern era comic book shop, they sell toys, they sell statues, they sell t-shirts, they sell posters, they sell Pokemon cards, they sell Magic the Gathering, they sell tabletop role-playing games. They sell pretty much everything but comic books, because if they had to depend on the net revenue and the profit from modern era comic books or the few vintage collections that walk into their shop, they would be out of business in a couple of months. They wouldn't be able to last. I mean, even executives at Disney that owns Marvel Comics, even executives at Warner Brothers, which owns DC Comics, they have all said that they would love to get entirely out of the modern era comic book publishing market because it's just not profitable for them. All is the reason why companies like Disney, which owns Marvel Comics, and DC produce modern era entries into the Batman franchise or Amazing Spider-Man or X-Men or Wolverine, whatever comic book it is. The reason they do that is just to keep the characters relevant. They know damn well their comic book divisions aren't going to return a stellar profit in the year 2024, 2025, especially when we look at the success of a lot of these comic book characters on the silver screen, licensed in merchandise, literally being playable characters in video games. That's how younger individuals want to interact with these characters. They no longer have a fondness for comic book art as a commodity, as an art form going forward. And this is going to cause serious repercussions in the comic book collecting market going forward. Now, with that being said, it's not all doom and gloom. I want to be clear here. Even though if you look at the numbers from 2024 and you compare overall graded key issue comic book sales from 2024 to 2023 to 2022, you're going to see massive declines. There were 20 to 40% declines in this market across the board. It's very bad. But there still is opportunity here. Comic books aren't going to zero. What's most likely going to happen is you're going to have a capitulation point, and then certain prices will rebound. So if you're looking for tips on how to invest in vintage comic books right now, look for deals on Golden Age comic books. Look for deals in the Bronze Age realm. The Silver Age realm right now is pretty much wrecked. There is a lot of losses taking place in most Silver Age superhero comic books, Bronze Age superhero comic books, and of course, Copper Age superhero comic books. Golden Age, you have a little bit of buffer because a lot of those books, they're scarce and rare overall, and demand is still there. Same thing with pre-code horror. Pre-code horror comic books are all over the place. There's a lot of volatility, but if you buy right over the long term, you'll do okay. Utilize the optimal collecting grade and look for truly scarce in-demand issues. Case in point, if you want to invest in Bronze Age comic books right now, I recommend going after Neil Adams' Batman Detective Comics and scarcer Bronze Age horror comics. Your House of Secrets 92, your Marvel Spotlight 2. Books that literally kind of stayed under the radar. Even Tomb of Dracula 10, first appearance of Blade the Vampire Slayer. Now, thanks that Marvel pretty much canceled the new Blade movie, demand for that book is in the toilet. So there are opportunities on comic books like that if you buy right. I still do feel, though, Werewolf by Night 32, first appearance of Moon Knight, that's still a little bit overvalued, selling at a premium right now, in my opinion. I honestly think that book can afford to drop, especially in like grades 9.2, 9.4, 9.6. That book can still fall potentially 10% or more before I would honestly recommend buying it. Now, I could be completely wrong in that assessment because I know Moon Knight is a thing thanks to the limited Disney Plus series, but at the same token, let's be realistic. It is Moon Knight. We're not talking about Wolverine. We're not talking about Incredible Hulk. We're not talking about Batman or Spider-Man here. It is Moon Knight. So there is a little bit of a limited demand or pull for that book as we get further out into the future. But still, it does represent the Bronze Age horror genre pretty well, especially when it applies to Marvel Comics. So I wanted to have this discussion because this is going to send shockwaves through the pop culture collectible space as more details emerge on this bankruptcy restructuring. And unfortunately, a lot of the Timmys, Kimmies, and Poindexters out there still do not understand the full impact. This isn't just Diamond Comic Distributors per se, it's also the subsidiaries that fall under that branch, under that corporate conglomerate. So brace for impact. Just understand this is going to affect certain things. I don't think the Collectible Grading Authority is going to go out of business anytime soon. They could easily sell off or spin off that division. Somebody will buy it just for the fact that AFA, Action Figure Authority, is a market leader in grading toys and action figures at present time. So make no mistake, it is bad. It can get worse, but it's not the end of the world. And that's why I wanted to put out this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. I don't like to put out a lot of negative content. And as of late, with everything that's happening, with price depreciation, with negative returns in some of these markets, with Pokemon collectors going insane, with graded video game collectors not understanding the volatility of their own market, I feel that I kind of have to be the voice of reason in some of these markets, and I know some of you out there judge me harshly on that. Others of you are thankful for this channel for that reason. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if possible, I may very well see you in the next video.